Early stage, the company made representations that what we were doing was highly injurious to British economic interests, British jobs, to the future of the contract itself.
The pressure escalated to a new level after Helen Garlick's team requested information from the Swiss about those bank accounts.
We were told that the Saudis were making very serious objections, particularly to our following up the money in Switzerland.
What the prosecutors did not yet know was that there had been a visit here to 10 Downing Street, to Prime Minister Tony Blair's office by Prince Bandar. With London still on edge after terrorist attacks a year earlier, Prince Bandar delivered a disturbing message. Tony Blair's chief of staff told Frontline that Prince Bandar brought a letter from his father, Crown Prince Sultan, threatening to cut off cooperation on terrorism if the investigations of Al-Yamama continued.
Well, I received a call saying there were concerns. It was plain that it was serious. Saudi Arabia regarded this as a breach of their privacy, breach of the privacy of the royal family, if you like.
At first, Robert Wardle and his staff resisted. And then the Blair government lined up everyone, from the British ambassador to Saudi Arabia to Wardle's boss, Britain's Attorney General, to get him to drop the investigation.
The expression was, this is going to be people dead on the streets. And don't forget...
There's going to be blood on your hands if you go...
Well, yeah, absolutely. If we go forward with an investigation into these accounts in Switzerland, we'll find we're not going to be able to do what we can do to stop terrorism.
Prime Minister Blair himself sent this personal memo, quote, "These developments have given rise to a real and immediate risk of a collapse in UK-Saudi security, intelligence, and diplomatic cooperation."
I was left with a fairly stark choice. Should I continue with this investigation, or should I stop it?
But when you heard that it was Prince Bandar, it seems to me that would have set off a whole bunch of thoughts in your mind as to what's going on here.
Well, of course. It was unusual, to say the least.
Is this
Obviously,
British understatement? Or
yes,
is this...
it's very much British understatement.
In a situation where one of the people who signs on the bank accounts involved in the money is the deliverer of the threats. So why go along with it?
Because it's blackmail. It's not nice, but that's where we are.
Blackmail?
Sure. I accept that. Threats were made, and I had to decide whether to give in to them or whether continue with the investigation. At the end of the day, much against the grain, much against what I would have liked to have done, I took the view that the risk was too great to continue the investigation and risk the damage being done.
Soon after, Prime Minister Blair was at a G8 summit when he was asked about the controversy.
Were you aware that your government was approving payments to a friend of President Bush's as part of British Aerospace's kickback system? And is that why you suspended a fraud inquiry?
I'm glad you're answering that question.
On the point you asked me, let me make one thing very clear to you. I don't believe the investigation incidentally would have led anywhere except to the complete wreckage of a vital strategic relationship for our country in terms of fighting terrorism, in terms of the Middle East, in terms of British interests there. Quite apart from the fact that we would have lost thousands of British jobs. So
under our rules, it's absolutely outlawed to stop a case for economic reasons. That's fundamental. You cannot say jobs are at risk. That is a centerpiece of our convention. Otherwise, our convention doesn't work.
We were all really terrified by this decision. The oldest democracy in the world said that they will not respect the conventions they have signed and ratified. So the OECD Convention alone don't change anything.
The treaty itself?
The treaty itself is worth the paper it's written on, and sometimes not even that.
Despite repeated requests, neither former Prime Minister Tony Blair nor Prince Bandar or his cousin Prince Turki bin Nasser would speak with Frontline. And no member of the British government agreed to be interviewed on camera.